Well, let's get this first one started. The first one is introducing or getting puppies on raw food right. And with this part, we're talking about, we're going to start at the bottom scale. In my opinion, when you first starting your puppies out on raw food, your puppies should be fed anytime that it's 16 weeks or less or younger, should be fed one protein source at a time. The protein source that I always tell people to start with for young puppies is chicken necks, because chicken necks are one of the mildest protein sources that you can actually give dogs to help them get used to breaking down the raw meat. Right now, the raw meat, the bone, and the ligaments. And when we're talking about puppies, those are things that the puppies need to grow. You know, they need the muscle meat, they need the bone, and they need the ligaments for themselves as well. You know, so they can grow good skeletons and good muscle tone and good joints, and just thrive as a puppy. Now, when starting the puppies out, you want to start out giving, just chicken necks, whole or ground. You want to give that for a week, and that's just getting the puppy's stomach cut on. Around the second week, depending on how that first week went, the second week you start to introduce a second protein source, and that's typically when I jump into feeding some turkey necks and letting the turkey necks work their way into the process. But let me backtrack a little bit because I forgot something important. So within that first week, you've been feeding chicken necks for 3 days so far. You're on Wednesday, and you're at your second feeding for Wednesday for puppies, because in my opinion, puppies 16 weeks or less should be eating 4 times a day when you're feeding raw food. All right, so your Wednesday, you're at your second feeding of the day. This is when it switches up a little bit. This is when you want to start introducing like chicken legs or chicken quarters, just to see how the puppy responds to it, how the puppy grabs it, how the puppy chews on it, rips at the meat, pulls at the skin, just to see if the puppy's going to be able to handle it. Now, when the puppy starts to chew on it and on it, don't take it from them. Just watch them closely, because it's a new piece of food, so they might get excited. Some puppies in the beginning might not, touch it and kind of sit away from it, and that's when you just pick it up and hold it to them and tell them it's okay. Let them chew on it. So when you're Wednesday of first week after feeding chicken necks successfully, no running stools, no dogs earling or anything like that, you go to a chicken leg or a quarter leg and you let the dog chew on that. And then that same Wednesday on the third meal, if everything went fine with the first chicken leg, you give them another, and then on the last meal you go back to your chicken necks, because you want to make sure that bone is in there. So in the second week, we go into giving turkey necks, and with the turkey necks, it's the same kind of deal. You start on that Monday and you give your first meal of meaty bones, because you want to make sure your puppies are still eating good. So your chicken necks, and they're eating good, they got a good meal. And then your second meal of the day, you feed half of the chicken neck portion that you gave your dog. Ragnar, come here, boy. You give him half of the chicken neck portion that you gave your dog, and then you replace that other half with a piece of turkey neck, to see if the dog can handle chewing up the turkey neck and digest the turkey fine. 90% of the time, that transition from chicken to turkey is a smooth transition. Turkey is not too off from chicken when it comes down to breaking down the protein and the bone and stuff. The difference is it's a larger piece, and it's a slightly more complex protein for them to break down, which is fine, because you're moving in the right track by having the dog start at one protein source, move to the next. Now, on that second week as well, this is when you start to you kind of start to introduce more of the chicken legs, more of chicken pieces as well. Just to, throw a little oddball in there with your dog. So in that second week, your dog's starting to eat. You got your chicken necks they're doing well with. You got the turkey neck they didn't have any problem with and they did well with. And then you got, your chicken leg that you already started with, or thigh that you already started with week 1, and everything is going well. So you should be moving in the right direction, and things at that point should be moving kind of rapidly. You should be able to see how well your dogs handled those first four protein, or first 4 cuts, because you have the chicken neck, which is about that long and probably about that thick, and then you got your thigh, and then you got your drumstick, and then you got your turkey neck, which is pretty bigger, and it's just a slow process that you want to take it in, but you want to make sure while you're taking it in that the dogs are actually thriving, and they're not having any issues as throwing up or diarrhea. Now, if your dog is throwing up, there could be 2 things going on. One, you can have missed a worming, and 2, you could have been overfeeding the dog to where the dog can't hold anymore inside of his stomach, and it regurgitates up. But typically what happens is I never seen a dog that just couldn't handle raw food whatsoever. I never heard of a dog that couldn't handle raw food whatsoever. So if the dog is continuously throwing up and having diarrhea spouts, which is cannon butt, a veterinarian needs to be seen, because something is off. Most vets are going to say, you don't feed. There's great commercial diets. Commercial diets are here for a reason. Well, my thoughts on that is commercial diets have been causing a lot of the harm to animals. Over the last few years, or 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you've been hearing about dogs with more cancer, dogs with more odd health issues that typically aren't issues of dogs. And that's all because of the way people have chose to feed. And that's one of the biggest reasons for me wanting to get into the raw food, is to keep my dogs healthy, keep my dogs up to a specific point, over a certain bar, to make sure they thrive in life. So this is going to be part 1. I want to break it down into 2 steps for you guys. So the first part is, we're going to start slow with the chicken necks, and then we're going to work onto a chicken leg, chicken quarter thigh, chicken thigh, and then we're going to go into the turkey. And as well with the turkey, you go with the chicken and the turkey, the legs and the turkey, the thigh and the turkey. One of the reasons that I suggest using dark meat as well as the chicken necks or the turkey neck is because there's more health benefits in dark meat compared to white meat, as well as it's a fattier piece for your puppies. People who feed their dogs but don't feed their dogs fat when it comes to raw are losing that life-sustaining fat. I talk about life-sustaining fat a lot. So in one of these parts, I will actually sit down and talk to you guys about specifically life-sustaining fat. There's good fat and there's bad fat, but dogs need fat. When you look at the bags of kibble, you normally see protein sources like 14 or like 24, and you see fat sources in there like 16, 14. So even if kibble has fat, you have to make sure that your dogs have life-sustaining fat when feeding raw. If not, you will see the results in a dog that is way too thin, a dog that tires easily and doesn't have the energy to really keep up with other dogs, or even your humans, because some of that fat actually fuels the dog in order for the dog to move and do its thing. So thank you guys for watching. It's your man Chris Jones, NoVACAIN Kennels. I'll be coming back with part 2 sometime today. In part 2, we'll be talking about pork and meats in that category for about the 3rd week. And I'm your man Chris Jones, NoVACAIN Kennels, and I'm out.